everybody, welcome back, and I wanted to give just a quick update on what we're looking at regarding the snow for Thursday into Thursday night and then that weekend storm as well. So again, what we're looking at beginning even Wednesday evening into Wednesday night, we've got some of that snow showers across southwest and south central parts of North Dakota stretching into northeastern parts of South Dakota, and that's just going to kind of linger through the morning hours on Thursday. And then, as we said in the last video, it looks like it's going to be late afternoon Thursday when this storm really gets cranking up. When we back this off just one frame here, or one little click, and this is around 3 p.m. Central Time on Thursday. And you can see how the snow begins to intensify across kind of that southwest to south central part of North Dakota, and then it continues to basically move east and a little bit south of east through time. This is around 6 p.m. now, and we're just along kind of straddling that border along the North and South Dakota border, getting into the eastern part of the states by this point. And then as we continue on by 9 p.m., that moderate snowfall begins to move into west central and central parts of Minnesota. And then by midnight already, that snow, the heavier snow at least, begins to exit out, kind of clipping perhaps the Twin Cities area just a bit. But all in all, it looks like where we're going to be seeing the heaviest snowfall is probably going to be in that south central to southeast of North Dakota, up into the northeastern part of South Dakota. So that will include that Wishick and Ashley, Leola, Frederick, Helka, Britton, Rutland, Lidgerwood, Sisseton, Aberdeen, Ipswich, kind of through your area roughly, and through there is where we're going to be looking for the greatest amount of snowfall. And if we take a look at kind of the snowfall map that I've made, in fact, some of the heavier snowfall might even stretch into the Napoleon, Linton, Hazelton, Moffett, Braddock area, maybe just clipping Bismarck. We're going to kind of call that maybe closer to 3 to 5 inches perhaps for that Bismarck area. But there you can see where kind of the heaviest amounts are expected in that 4 to 7 range, and then a stretch of about 2 to 4 all the way kind of from western parts of North Dakota, stretching through west central Minnesota, and then down and including the Twin Cities area. And then the remainder of you kind of in that gray area, that trace to 2-inch mark. And take a look at this area kind of just south of the Minnesota here, and in the far northern parts of Iowa. As we get kind of late into the night, Thursday night, early Friday morning, there's a band of snow that really wants to intensify and develop across northern parts of Iowa. Just keep this in mind a little bit, especially if you're kind of in that Fairmont area, just in case maybe some of that slips just a little bit further north, that some more intense type of snowfall could occur as we get into the early Friday morning hours. But at this point, it looks like it's going to stay south. But just kind of keep that a little bit in mind. In fact, you can see where the models kind of pump that up across northern parts of Iowa going into early Friday morning. This is around 3 a.m. and 6 a.m. and 9 a.m. time frame. Now, the second part of this system gets cranking Saturday night. This is Saturday night at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. and midnight. And by that point, here's where we're starting to see things really begin to ramp up. Again, kind of southwest to south central part of North Dakota, stretching back into that northeastern part of South Dakota. The way it's looking right now, a couple of the models are kind of starting to agree. Sorry, Jared. It looks like you up here in New Salem might be getting a little more, I know, than you were hoping for up there. As we get into Sunday morning at 3 a.m. and 6 a.m., again, we're kind of looking at that snowfall continuing across to mainly this region in through here. We're really kind of going to be focusing on by this point on Sunday morning. And then as we get to later into the morning and around noontime on Sunday, it looks like that moderate to heavy snow begins to move into the Twin Cities area. And actually, a couple of models are sort of agreeing on this scenario that the Twin Cities could get hit with some moderate to heavy snows as we get into Sunday. Again, this is all very far out there. but the models are kind of starting to come into a little better agreement than what I was seeing yesterday. So I'm kind of giving you a little better idea, or just a glimpse at least of perhaps the timing of how some of this is going to go. And then as we go into Sunday evening at about 6 p.m., that snow continues across eastern South Dakota, southern parts of Minnesota. And look what happens with some of this warm air out ahead of the storm system as we start to ramp this up and pull it north. As we get into Monday, where some of these areas we're looking at some plentiful snow across southern parts of Minnesota. As we get into Monday, we have the potential for seeing some rain and perhaps even a few thunderstorms. And again, a couple of the models are kind of agreeing on this scenario as we go through the day on Monday rather. But it's kind of as we get into Monday evening and on to Tuesday is when the models all start to jumble, and I don't quite like what they're showing at this point to really show much beyond Monday. But an updated look at the most likely areas to see snowfall and perhaps even some moderate to heavy snowfall is going to be you guys here in red. And again, kind of stretching that now a little bit further west to include that Dickinson and Bowman and New Salem area, and just kind of clipping perhaps Bismarck. For certain, we're still looking at that Aberdeen, Sisseton, Morris up and through Alexandria area. This was kind of the area I had outlined with the video yesterday. So still obviously including that, and then stretching that just a little bit further east to include kind of the Twin Cities and just to the north. And then that other area here in yellow, that kind of cautionary area, also expanded that a little bit further north. Not so much south. It looks like we did slide this just a little bit north. And then, of course, some of you areas across southeastern parts of Minnesota as well. So there you go. Like I said, just a quick little update to kind of give you a feel for how much snow is expected with this first system coming through Thursday. Again, mostly Thursday, late Thursday and in through Thursday night. And then just get a little better timing and how things are looking for the weekend storm so that you can start planning appropriately. So there you go, folks. We've got a few things to deal with and we'll keep you updated. Be sure to check out my social media channels because I will have the graphics up on there so you can take a little better look. And of course, if you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to the channel because there's going to be other updates coming throughout the remainder of the winter, whatever's left of winter as we enter into spring. So you're going to want to stay up to date as we enter that part of the season. So please hit the subscribe button, and if all else, just hit the like button down below. That would help me out tremendously. Leave a comment. Please, boy, that's been great to see all the comments on the channel lately. It's really, really fun to see. So I appreciate that. Keep that going as well. All right, everybody, for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner. Everybody have a good day.